So here we're going to do the second wing, and I'm going to do it in a little different order than I did the first, and I believe this is the correct order. Let's see, where have I put? Okay, so first I'm going to accelerate those two guys. Get these glued in. Oh, got a little extra CA out here. Again, you pretty much want to clean up the drips immediately, and that, again, that's a nice reason for using thick CA, is any little puddles you can wipe up even after, especially when they just squirt out on an area that it doesn't have any accelerator on it. You can just wipe up those drips and keep going. Okay, so next is I'm going to do this. It's okay that I have a little extra there, because you'll see I'm going to accelerate this whole bottom piece when I do it. Again, I want to stop right there, right here. Trying to get it up on the edges here. Not too much. I'm just mostly just using the tip to kind of smear it around and get everything in there, rather than adding any extra CA. Okay. It'd be nice if I could get it centered in the hole this time. We will see if that happens or not. Starting with the bottom. I do think it's a little better starting with the bottom again, because it lays flatter too, so hopefully you can't accidentally introduce any quirks. Let's make sure there's no extra CA sticking out here. Wipe that off. Okay. Let's accelerate these. Okay. These are probably the most important, and the trick again here is to do very small beads, so you want it to get down in the slot without getting all over the edges. You'll notice it, if you do it really carefully, it'll kind of wick itself into the hole. Get that hair out of there. You want to be prepared to wipe this up. Okay, I think I got it. Put it out there. It looks like that for the bottom piece, it's deeper on the root than it is out at the tip. So you want to start at the root and make sure it's fully seated. Make sure you're putting the long one in the right spot. So you wouldn't want to accidentally pick up the short one, put it in the long slot. So I'm taking the long one. There's a little extra dribbling out here. You want to make sure that the slot, that it isn't folded over at all. I noticed on the other side that when I pressed on it, it kind of tried to fold over out here at the tip where it's not as deep. So try to avoid that. Okay, yeah, definitely had a little extra here. To wipe it off the inside end. Looks like I went a little long here. Which means that I'll have to test fit this and make sure. I mean, I have an little extra room, so but I may have to extend the slot on the top if this doesn't seat perfectly, because it looks like I've got about a 32nd, 16th or so slid out this way. So that was the trick. When I laid it in here, it kind of rocked this way a bit. And of course, now that the CA is cured, it's not moving at all. At all. And you do have to be a little careful that you don't, there it goes, it's curing. You don't want to hit it right away, in other words, do the piece right away. Let these cure a little bit and keep making sure they're pressed into place. So, here's why doing the bottom is better, because now I can accelerate. Well, no, let's see. I don't want to do this yet because I don't want to get it on the top. Yeah, so you want to wipe this off and then do a quick test fit. Make sure that the carbon ribbons will seat and that nothing sticks up around the edges. Yeah, I think this is going to go a little better. It is interesting because it always looks like the top doesn't slide in quite as far, but there's nothing extra out here. There's no room. Get it to lay flush. It's in as far as it will go, but you see there's a little bit of a seam there, which is fine. Doesn't hurt anything. By the way, don't leave that on too long, because if there's any little bits of uncured CA, it'll start to bond it to the other side. Again, that's why I wipe up the drips. But we're getting really close here. And so I'm going to take and accelerate the entire bottom. In fact, I'm going to put that way off to the side so that it doesn't get any accelerator on it. Be sure to get those edges. I'm not trying to put it on heavy, just trying to get an even coating. So here we go. The real key is getting it up all the way around the lip. All the way around. Because you really don't want to have a spot with no adhesive that you got to pour it down in there later. Okay. Down in here. Get it into that slot. All these cross pieces into this slot. You can get, okay, yeah, remember I gotta get it into this one here, but only up to this point, because that's the be pretty liberal. This is where a little ventilation would be good, because I'm starting to feel it cure, smell it cure. Don't get close to this slot. Keep it out away from that one a little bit, especially on this side, because you do not want to get CA into that joint there. Leave a gap there. Okay, time to go. This is the moment. Okay, there. Let's see, make sure I got it there. Into that. Ready to rock. Again, the seating the carbon ribbons in their slots is priority number one. You can always come back and get the spar, but because I'm laying it on the rounded, the rounded top, if you press across the whole thing, it will sort of peel loose the bottom. So press only on the front, and then on the back, and then in the middle, but not all at once. Make sure your surface is clean so that when you're pressing down on it, you're not leaving dents in the foam. It looks like I did that a little bit here. You can probably take those out with a little bit of heat. The key using the accelerator is you can't wait too long. So I can't, I accelerated the bottom, I set it aside, I immediately applied glue to the inside, and you don't want that to last for more than about a minute, that process. Otherwise the accelerator evaporates completely away and then it takes a long time to cure. This one went together pretty well. I don't see any real gaps. I can hear it crackling a little bit if I press on it, so I'm not going to try and peel it loose. Let give it a few more minutes to cure. While that's doing its thing, I'm going to go ahead and do this. Again, I'm actually going to try this, see if I can sand the slot just a little bit. Just a tiny bit. I'm just sort of trying to get the walls of this slot. And then I'm also going to get this. I'm just trying to sort of take the shine off like everything else. Okay. I'm going to say, be careful with the carbon dust because it'll turn the foam black really quick if you get it with a little bit of CA. Okay. Again, press here first and then get everything else. The trick is to get that down to the bottom of that depression, that little depression for the horn. That's the low spot, and you want to make sure it's in there. But everywhere else, you definitely want to make sure it's not sticking up at all above the foam. Here I've got a little bit of extra CA kind of out, so I'm going to wipe it, and then I'm going to accelerate a little bit, just to sort of get any little extra bit to just go ahead and cure. Yeah, this is definitely where I should have had some ventilation. I can smell this one curing pretty aggressively. I mean, it's not dissolving the foam or anything or melting it from heat. It's just I can definitely smell it, and it's not you work with CA enough and you get kind of sensitive to that smell. Everything feels pretty solid. So, again, no, it's still up towards the top a little bit. So the first wing, I glued this into the top first, and then the bottom, and I thought maybe that's why the joiner was a little higher in the slot. And this one I glued it to the bottom first, and then put the top on, and it's still high in the slot. So that tells me that that's just the way it is. Anyway, so again, if there's any little drips of CA down in that channel, I want to make sure that they're cured right now. So, looks like my accelerator's running out. Time to get some new one. GoPro, stop recording.